Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. So, I recently went to Notions Antique Centre in Grantham in Lincolnshire. I was going to go and visit my son in York and stopped off in Grantham on the way and asked if I could film in there and then did the film on the way back. So, yeah, it was like see if they'll say yes. I've not been there before. The first visit, but I did have a quick scout around the first time, and yeah, there's lots of, it's a really good place for glass. This might be a three-parter. I've used about 20 clips of film so far, and there's about 60 almost. Yeah, so yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a three-parter, unless I can't tell. I don't know how long. Anyway, regardless, yes. Lots of glass, lots of nice things in there. I did buy some things. I bought one thing for me, my wife bought something as well, and I'll show you. I think they're going to be in part 2 roughly. Yeah, they're not in part 1 anyway. Yeah, and also you have to excuse the icon for this because I was standing outside in the rain and I forgot to take a photograph in front, and normally I kind of like trying to get it all planned out so I'm not too close, and yeah, I forgot to do that, so I had to do a screen grab, and I look really close like this. It's terrible, but yeah, I just forgot to do a photo, and that's the best I could do. So with the screen grab that I could do, because then you have to frame it and fit it and everything. So anyway, so sorry about the big-faced icon. It's not because my head's getting bigger or anything. It's just that, yeah, it's like faux pas on my part. Anyway, with that said, let's get on and have a look at what's going on at Notions Antique Centre in Grantham. Hello, today I'm in Grantham and this is Notions Antique Centre. I have been in and had a look around, and there's some really good glass in here. It's going to be a good video, this one. So yeah, with that said, because this is it's on the main road, as you can see. So with that said, I'm going to get out of the rain because it's raining here. Okay, bye. So I've come in, I'm right by the door here, and I spot this little glass pot down here. It looks like a Franz Wahl piece. I'm not certain though. A bit different about it. I might try and find that. It's quite a nice thing. Not tiny. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So you can hear in the video that I said I think it might be Franz Wahl's, but I had some, you can hear I've had some misgivings about is it, isn't it? And yeah, when I looked at it before I started hunting, I thought my misgivings are the little finial on top of the lid is in clear glass, and that's not usual. Then the colorway, I don't remember that one, and the frill that was running around it as well, I don't remember that. Now the thing about Franz Wahl's glass is that they have lots of colorways, they have lots of features that they use, like the frill that you see a lot of, and they're all different, and then things like the top, sometimes they're in black, sometimes they match the bowl, sometimes they don't match but they're in a different color, and they tend to mix and match, so you don't often see things that are the same. You just see oh, I recognize this pattern, I recognize this shape, I recognize this little feature, and it's something that they use. And also the other thing is that you usually have a white lining in the inside, and I couldn't see inside that one either. So yeah, there was almost nothing to make me think it's Franz Wahl's, apart from the fact that I thought it was Franz Wahl's. So I started searching. And after went through the normal stuff, couldn't find anything, so I resorted to using Bing here to do the search. And yeah, fairly early on I found this bowl here with the clear top saying it's Franz Wahl, and this is one of their colorways. You can see what I mean by the colorways. You got all of these different kinds of patterns here. and shapes. And then here's one with the frill, and when I've clicked through, so here we go, this is the one with the clear top. If you look, it's got a white interior as well. And then, yeah, good old Collectors Weekly. Here's the colorway that we were looking at. So they're saying this is Transvaals. I've seen these before, especially this, with lots of different colorways for this specific jug with the square top and white interior. And it's got the same one with, it's got these like red and white with these great green streaks across it. And then you've got this one, which is another one with a clear top, white interior, different frill around the bowl though. And then you've got this one here where there's no lid, but it's got the same frill. And another recognizably Transvaals colorway. What's this one? Another one with similar colorway but clear top, similar look to the way the bowl is. So I'm kind of now happy that it is Transvaals. It's probably from, you know, interwar period, 1920s, 1930s. But yeah, I can't find any catalogues. I've actually been hunting around through, oh no, that's 20th Century Glass, and hang on, no, not there either. Yeah, Czech Glass Guide as well, can't find it. So anyway, with that said, I will, I think, yeah, I'm pretty certain it's Transvaals, and just slightly unusual colorways and shapes and patterns and features about it. Also not far from the entrance is this comport here, and looking at it, construction of the, see the way the foot and everything is put together, it's got a blown stem, so that means it's a quality piece, because that's a bit more difficult to do. And yeah, it looks very Victorian, that one. In fact, the way the rim is, can you see that looks like some of the pressed glass from the 1860s, I think. And where the foot is, I think that's about how old that is. The book I'm looking at here is Decorative Victorian Glass by Cyril Manley, and this is the feature I'm talking about. You see these little ridges? I mean, some of my other books, I've seen other ones with slightly different patterns and shapes, but the overall basic shape of it, I know this is a cone, but it has a similar kind of shape stem to it, and this little bits around the edge here. Yeah, I think it's the same period as I think this is copying what that comport is. This one's Molyneux Webb, 1864. So yeah, so that's the, I think it's around that period. It might be 1850s, it might be 1870s, but I think this is where most of these ones with these little ridges are dated around the 1860s. So I think that's a good date. Actually, I haven't travelled very far. So this is quite, for an aesthetic movement, decanter there in the back. It's very difficult to tell from here. It's a better quality one because it's got a panel cut neck, and the edges of the panel have got windows of little notches in it. I don't know if I hold it still, can you see that? But the interesting, nice thing here is this jug. So it says amethyst, and it's kind of like a ribbed glass, and the handle is put on from top to bottom, which means it's pre-1870s. That's a really nice, because it's quite a big, look at it compared to the decanter. That is a nice big early jug. That's nice in amethyst as well, which is pretty rare. Some interesting bits and pieces in here. Grape dishes, see, with the dished foot, which means it's for grapes. They'll probably be pre-war, might just be post-war if they are, or they've got a set of 6. First of all, I'd like to correct myself. I was saying grape dishes and I meant grapefruit dishes. And yes, so I'm looking at the Stuart Crystal catalogue for 1964 here. Those dishes are not in here, okay, but I just wanted to show you the difference and what makes them grape dishes. So those dishes that those little green dishes, I don't know who made them. I think they might be Bohemian. But anyway, what made them grape dishes is that the foot is shaped like this. You can see they're like little dishes underneath. So you've got your bowl to put half your grapefruit in, and then you have a little dish that it's sitting in. That is the foot. See, so this is why you get the classic sweet dishes and grapefruits. So these are sweet dishes and these are grapefruits, and you can see the little dish shape, and this is supposed to be to put your pips in. So yeah, so the ones with the dish base are grapefruits, and the ones with just a normal foot are for puddings and sweets and ice creams and stuff like that. So anyway, I just thought I would just highlight that difference, because not everybody, I've heard some people disputing about whether they are grapefruit dishes or not, and here we are. Here's a catalogue, 1964, clearly saying and I could start hunting for other catalogues and finding more, but yeah, that's what they are. But the thing that's really attracting me, oh God, the reflections are terrible. See if I can cut the reflections out. Is this? Can you see that? It's got like a ball with a small hole in the top, so it's not like an open glass. I think that's a cut lace maker's glass. I've never lamp. I've never seen one. Normally they're just plain. It looks kind of late first quarter of the 19th century, but I've never seen one that's like that. I'm wondering if it's not English. See if I can get it from a different angle. Can you see it a bit better? No, the reflection's terrible. And from back here, you can see it a bit better, but then you're further away. But you see that? Yeah, really strange item. It said in form. It's like a lace maker's lamp, but yeah, never seen it with hobnails cut into it and a square cut base. Normally they look earlier, but yeah, that's a little interesting thing. So I knew I didn't have any references with a lace maker's lamp which has hobnails on it, and I thought I'll Google, can I find any, and the answer is no. I've got a couple here. There's one with some cutting on it. I think there's another one there, another one. None of them are hobnail patterns. They're just a little basic bit of cutting. I think that one's got a bit of cutting around the top there. But the form of it, if you look at the general shape, it's like a bowl like this, like a little small fish bowl with a small hole in the top, and that's the shape of that glass. But all of the ones in here look 18th century. There's lots of 18th century features on them with baluster stems and all sorts of things. Look at this one with a funny little handle and everything. So lots of 18th century looking ones, but no, that one looked kind of Regency. I'd really have to have it out and have a play with it. But yeah, it's a really unusual thing. It feels out of period. The shape is like I mean, look at this. This is almost exactly with the same size hole and everything. So it's very like a lace maker's lamp, but I can't see anything else that's like it. Apart from the fact the general shape is like a lace maker's lamp. And some of them, there are some in here that I've seen that have just got a basic stem. So they're not all fancy. Like there's one that's a bit different though. But yeah, there's all sorts of fancy ones because they're from the 18th century, so all sorts of fancy stems were going on at that time. There's one that's got basic foot and stem, but yeah, I can't pin it down really. I can't definitely say it's a lace maker's lamp. I can't say it's not though, because the shape of the bowl is so like a lace maker's lamp. These are interesting. They look like, I don't know if they're pickle jars. Pickle jars normally go in a bit at the top. These don't. They're quite flush. I mean, that does go in to sit inside it. The form is like something from the early 19th century. I don't think they are, although colour-wise they look a bit 19th century. If they're that early, they're very early for pressed glass for the UK, which makes me think maybe they're continental. Nice sweetie jar behind with the size. Look how Art Deco that is. So Art Deco with it on each side, like little stepped wings, and then behind that, yeah, it's pity about the stopper. That's, if you had a stopper, you'd be laughing with that. So this is probably 1830s, 1840s. Really nice colour. Yeah, that's a nice decanter there. Pity about the lack of stopper, but yeah, I don't have one that colour. I've got quite a few colour stoppers, but I'm pretty certain I don't have a match for that. The book we're looking at is The Decanter Ancient and Modern by Andy McConnell. And yeah, so the decanter we were looking at is a bit like this one. You see it's got a spire stopper. This one is closer to it as well. I think it's slightly earlier than these ones though. It's got more of a traditional ring on the neck, and also it's like an elongated cylinder, and those kind of cylinder decanters came in the 1830s. These ones have all got sloped shoulders. I think design wise it's somewhere between these ones and the earlier cylinder ones, so that's what I would say, 1840s probably. Yeah, I think that's what I would go with. He's saying these are 1850s, but also he's got a whole range of decanters, so some of these will be earlier. But anyway, that's my thoughts, and take them or leave them. Here's this weirdness thing here. Yeah, what makes it weird is it would be a fairly standard Spanish form bottle with a little pouring spout on the side where you tip it into people's mouths. What's interesting, it's got a little pocket in it. Can you see just there? There's a little ring and there's like a pocket of glass in it. Move around, I don't know if you can see it better. And that would be for ice. Never seen one with an ice pocket in it, so that's quite unusual. The raffia on it, this stuff that's string, I think that's made out of some sort of grass or something. Yeah, that doesn't look new. That looks like it's at least 40 years old. It's just got that dusty, dried out look to it that you get with age. The other thing that's nice in here is this little glass here. Yeah, little bucket bowl. Pity this. The foot's got a couple of little chips in it, but if you look at the rim, it's got some gilding on. That's pretty much all faded off. I can see all the tool making in the foot. It looks very 1810, 1820, that kind of period. Looks like it's made to go with the decanters of that sort of, maybe even early 1800. Little faceted ball knob on it. That's quite a nice little glass there for £1.50, if you don't mind. A couple of little chips on it. This is a nice set. I've got Harbridge on it. I'll try and look that up and see if I can date it. I've not seen it before. I can't remember the history of Harbridge. I've looked them up before. I will also do that as part of this. You see this little cutting around here? That's very mid-century, so it might be 1930s, 1940s, 50s, that kind of period.
That was when that was used. And
so I tried to find out about Harbridge crystal, and yeah, it's a bit of a tale of woe, really. I thought I'd try and find the pattern first that I was looking at, so I went into replacements. There is one pattern, okay, and it's not that, and it's pretty boring. It's not as nice as the one we were looking at. So I went to crystal drinking glasses, and they've got two patterns, and it's neither of those either, and they're pretty boring looking. I then went to discontinued designs, and they've got none. Okay, so I tried to find the pattern just by doing a Google search, and there is some Harbridge, and there's some quite cute patterns here. There's some nice designs. So yeah, there is the usual crisscrossy whatever, but I mean, if we go down to the bottom, there's a really nice joke down here somewhere. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? I've lost it now already. Anyway, there are some nicer patterns here that aren't the usual crisscrossy pattern, but yeah, not that pattern that we were looking at there. So I tried to Google, and nope, it's not there either. Look, that's quite nice. Oh, this is what I was thinking of. This one here, look at that. That's really quite funky. Anyway, the pattern's not there either. So where did I go next? I did some general searching in the Glass Museum. Yeah, it's just like a tiny footnote. There's the label, Harbridge Crystal Glass Company, blah, blah, Plattwork Stourbridge, handmade full crystal glassware, and that's your lot. So I did some more searching, and what's that? No. So this one here, and in Glass Messages, I found this little, and I think this is about the most description you're going to get. 1924 to 66, but they were absorbed into Webb Corbett in 1957. So they're one of those companies that floated around for a little bit, sank beneath the waves. There's literally no trace of them as a registered company. Yeah, they're gone. It's very sad. Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, there were people working there. They did stuff. They made it. Some of it still exists, and it seems there's nothing left. No catalogues that I can find, or anything. Anyway, so the design that we were looking at is very nice, and I imagine those glasses and jug are marked somewhere. But obviously they were in a glass cabinet, and I wasn't going to start opening every glass cabinet to have a look underneath things. So yeah, it is what it is, and yeah, it is a nice design, but I can't really close in on it any closer than they didn't exist for that longer time. And from what it's saying here, it's relatively rare glass, and they're actually saying it's good quality as well.
just in behind, can you see there's a little, not little, there's a nail-C rolling pin, a little glass rolling pin with patterns in it. Then we have here a royal type decanter, royal shape I should say. A little uncertain of the stopper. The stopper looks like it's off a bludgeon decanter, looks like it's about 1850s or something like that, but I couldn't tell without taking it out because I know some of the royal types have different shaped stoppers in. The cocktail shaker there looks very bohemian. A few other bits and pieces in here, and then this is interesting, slightly different. Looks like a Nelson type, but it's actually got an extra, so it's like a cross between a Nelson shape and a royal shape decanter. So this will be from the 1830s. The stopper might be original, I'm not certain. But yeah, he's saying Georgian, it's more Regency, but it's still a nice one. It's slightly unusual variation because it's like, should have 3 rings, but one of the rings has collapsed down onto the bottom ring. So yeah, quite interesting design.
The book I have here is 19th Century British Glass by Hugh Wakefield, and this is an advert from 1838 by Apsley Pellats. So yeah, this is a Nelson type, and this is a Royal. In fact, it says, you can see here, Nelson shape, Royal shape. Can you see? So the way that decanter was, that second one, was this ring here plopped down onto the top of this one. So this was like a bit like this, but then it had like this ring was quite a bit higher up. Yeah, so it was like a double ring and a single ring. Yeah, a bit unusual. I don't remember seeing that before. But yeah, I've seen ones with just a double ring at the bottom. I've also seen them. Some of them have like a really fat ring with two little thin ones on each edge. There are variations, but that variation wasn't common.
We've got an incorporator bottle here. Can't see the label, it's the wrong way around. The stopper's not right, it's a pity. I could probably do a better stopper than that. I think it would probably be a cartwheel stopper, because this is an earlier one. The earlier ones have a foot, and it's got a polished pontle. So yeah, this might be early Victorian, Regency, something like that. I don't think it's early. It might be earlier, but it might not. Don't think so with the polished pontle. But yeah, that's quite a nice early one. But the stopper's not quite right. The other thing that's interesting here is this pedestal salt boat, and the form of it is like I think it's an Irish one. I've got one very like that I actually bought from Ireland. So yeah, I think that is an Irish one.
So when I started looking for pedestal salt boats, a lot of the ones that came up were mine. Yeah, because I'm slightly obsessed about them, and I have quite a lot of them. So I thought I would go to my own reference, my own website, and show you. And I thought, what bullshit I write sometimes. If you're unlucky, you might get around to putting my boats collection on the website. Yeah, what bullshit. Anyway, I have done a video on pedestal salt boats, but this is actually the one I was talking about, and I've put it here. I've not said why, which is crap as well, but it's because I actually bought this from Ireland. It did come off eBay. I think it was in Cork or somewhere like that. But yeah, if you look at this one, look at this pattern here. Yeah, this is very similar. This is the same. The key difference between this one and the one we were looking at is that mine has a ripply edge and that one had a straight edge. So, but the cutting is almost exactly the same. So I am comfortable that the one we were looking at is an Irish one. Now that I've come back and sort of like verified with my own eyes that it is very like the one that I actually have.
The other stuff in here is you got I think that's Webb Corbett decanter there, Gothic pattern. But
I mentioned Webb Corbett Gothic, and I thought, yeah, I know I can definitely find that one at least. So here it is, Gothic Webb Corbett. This is what it looks like, and you could see that on the decanter we're looking at. Unfortunately, quite often they give dates here, but they don't for this one. Here's a better picture here. You can see what it looks like with the little fans. So yeah, that is the pattern we were looking at, but I can't get you dates for it, I'm afraid.
yeah, these are a little bit Victorian, needle etched. Yeah, and these are power ones. These look early as well. Looking at the way see, like late Victorian, where the was put on. So that's actually put on as a separate piece. So yeah, these are probably Edwardian, late Victorian as well. Poor quality shaft and globe decanter. You see where the bottom of the stopper has just been broken off without being fitted, and it's very roughly fitted. Yeah, I quite like that. You know me, I like crap stuff sometimes. So that's probably mid-Victorian. Really, look how wonky the glass is. Yeah, I like that, even if it's rubbish quality. This is cute. A pressed glass basket. I'll try and find that. That's quite a nice one. This is nice as well. That looks like a Master Salt. I think that's a Regency one. What's he got written underneath it? It says, it says £4. I might have to have a better look at that. These are nice. Victorian needle etched glasses, and you can see, look, remember I was pointing about how the foot is attached. Can you see? It's a separate foot that's been added, so that means the interwar ones, it was all made in one piece. Here you can see the foot has been added. What's down here? Nothing too exciting. This is nice. I'm not sure what period it is. Whitefriars did these later as vases. Big, really big. Oh, this is nice as well. So, this jug. So, it kind of dates itself because these handles were going out by the 1870s, and these ferns were coming in the 1870s. So it kind of gives it almost a precise date for that, going 1870s. So that is really nice when you see that kind of dating pieces like that. What we've got down here, nice royal shaped decanter, that's £22. It's only a pint one though. Yeah, you see lots of these. They used to be really collectible, but people don't really collect them anymore. What else is in here? There's a Bristol blue candlestick over there. I couldn't tell much about it without getting it out. I'm not going to do that. What else? Yeah, nothing else is exciting me there. Let's go down another level. Yeah, these are not looking too exciting either. So oh, hang on. That's nice. That is a nice, look at the cutting on the top of that. That is a nice quality thing. I can't see a price on it anywhere, but that is, looks very Victorian with that basket. Might be continental, don't know, but it's a very quality thing. This is quite a nice late Victorian cruet set. It's almost complete, but they've done a nice job. This is a replacement here. Oh, sorry, I got my finger in the way. Can you see? All the others are the same. This one, but in form, it does match quite well. So from a distance, I didn't spot it straight away. So that tells you it's a good match. These are so distinctive you wouldn't see them. You wouldn't find another one, I don't think. But that's quite a nice set. It's only £32, so that's quite good. This book is Edwardian Shopping by R.H. Langbridge. Now, I thought I would try and figure out, is that cruet set, is it Victorian or Edwardian? I'm looking at the Edwardian book here, so this is going to give you an idea. I have a similar book with catalogues like this for Victorian from 1883. It's a thicker book, and this book doesn't have a section specifically for cruet sets. It just has this section on plated sauce baskets and steamers, plated pickle jars, and the rest of its other stuff. So now the thing that struck me about that cruet set was the curves in the metal frame. So if you look at this frame here, you can see you've got the central pillar and then it's curving out where it's attached. And then you've got this one, and it's actually similar central pillar, and it curves out at the bottom. This one has got other curves in it with a little ball in it, a bit like the one we were looking at. This one is actually closer to what we were looking at. It's got more curves, it's got curving, and so it's got parts that are a single piece that have been bent into shape in curves and sinews. So what I'm thinking, and what I'll say about the Victorian ones from 1883 is they're much more stiffly made. There's no curving pieces of metal like this. So this makes me think that cruet surface, and there was about 20 of them as well, just so I'm being clear on this, it's just like not the odd one, there was like a couple of pages just packed with it like this. So what this makes me think is the cruet service we were looking at is more likely to be Edwardian than it is to be Victorian. A couple of interesting decanters up here. Well, this one's a copy. Can you see the rings are just pressed out? They're not added. It's lozenges, so... But this one is a bit weird. So, it's like something from the 1840s. Look at the stopper. That looks like it's sitting right. It looks original. And then it's got this flange on the neck, at the bottom of the neck. That's like fancy shape one. That's actually a name from the 1830s. And then it's got like a Prussian shaped body with cutting, like from the 1830s as well. I think it's a bit later. This is unusual, but then that's got cutting in it as well. Cutting's nice and sharp, so it's, yeah, I think it is period. It looks, it's probably post 1845. It's a huge thing. And then this. I know I don't normally do it, but I'm back looking at my own website. Yeah, so this is fancy shape. This is a carafe. This is in the table carafe section, and this is the flange that I was talking about, like this. Yeah, so it looks very like that. Yeah, and this is in. We were looking at something earlier in this video in the absolutely Pellat 1838 advert, where it was showing you this fancy shape where you've got either a ring or a flange at the bottom, and then you've got this sloping shouldered mallet shaped body. So yeah, I think it's like this. So yeah, I'm looking at it again. I'm not sure at all about that decanter. It's interesting as well. This feels 1830s. Yeah, look at that foot. See what it looks like underneath. Yeah, it's got a bit of wear where it hits the table. There's a bit of dirt as well, but yeah, I think this is a this little bit here reminds me of the service that was made for Prince of Wales in 1815. But I think it's got a hollow stem, so it's a nice heavy thing. Yeah, I've not seen that before, but it just feels 1830s, 1840s. It's very nice. Look at this. This is a cool set. I think this is Bohemian. I think it's post-war. It says Art Deco on here. Art Deco is fine, okay. They made Art Deco after the war. You just have to, because Art Deco is a style, it's not a time period. And this looks very Art Deco. And look at, there's only 5 glasses. Yeah, but they're upside down for a reason, because they've got such small base and they're actually quite thin. So yeah, so there's a reason why there's only 5, but Still a really nice service, and if you want something cool to share with your friends before you go out, yeah, it's actually less than a bottle of booze, 1950. So yeah, that is quite a cute thing. I'm here on the Glass Musterbuch D.D website here. I've ploughed through many Bohemian or Czech catalogues here, and this is the closest I can find to that decanter. So it thinks this is 1952. It's not certain, but you can see this decanter here with the rings on it, and then you've got these jugs, and these are frosted as well. There are quite a lot of, if I was to start ploughing through the catalogue, there are other frosted wares in there, so that seems to be a theme at this point. I can't find anything else that's similar to this, so I think this is what it is. And if you look at these decanters here, they still have that similar flat top cut pouring lip. So yeah, I think it's this company here, which is Kamenicki Senov. I'm not certain. I would need more years, but it does. The style does put it clearly into the 1950s. It's post-war, as I thought. I think I've looked at some pre-war ones, and there's nothing like that. So I'm fairly comfortable that it's a post-war decanter and glasses. Some interesting things down here. There's a small bludgeon decanter. The stopper's not the original. Same period, I think. But yeah, you can even see the colour's a bit brighter. But Dartington, I think this might be called a director's decanter. I might be wrong. No, it's not a director's decanter. I can't remember what this one's called. You can tell all the Dartington ones are. Will it focus? Will it focus? Focus over here. Come on. No, but the Darting ones have a shallow peg fitting, and then they have like a. Can I get it to focus? There you go. Can you see how that is? Yeah, a lot of Dartington decanters look like that. So even if you don't know the shape, you'll see that, and you're just going, yeah. Now a few of them are polished, but most of them look like that, and it's got a pontle mark. Let's see what it's got written under here. Yeah, £22. I think that's okay because this looks unused. So yeah, there's no. This one looks like it's probably Krosno. Let's get the stopper out. No, it's not coming in. I'm not going to force it. I think that's Krosno. That one looks English, but I don't recognise it. This is the thing that interests me. So I'm getting to the thing that interests me the most. The last is, look at that. Isn't that cool? You don't normally see that. I don't think this is English. The glasses, can you see it's off-white? It's kind of a yellowish colour. I suspect it's Bohemian. But yeah, you don't often see a piece like this with this tumbler where it hangs like that. Isn't that nice? Nice design feature. The book I'm looking at here is Dartington Glass, the First 20 Years by Linda and Stuart Smithson. And yeah, so this is the decanter we were looking at. The peg on this one looks a bit longer, but the stopper's the same. So it's FT44, which means it's early in the design run for them, and that makes it 1968, which is the second year of production for Dartington. Now it does tell you something interesting here. So yeah, it tells you it was made in clear and midnight, and then it says in 1990 the stopper was changed to a shorter design with an integral bubble. Okay, so the stopper we were looking at, although the peg's a bit shorter, it looks about this height, and it didn't have a bubble, which means that this one is pre-1990, which probably means that it's definitely a vintage piece, because yeah, there's only a couple of years before we hit 2025, and then, you know, it's got to be a vintage, you know. No, what am I saying? Yeah, it's definitely a vintage piece. What am I saying? Because that's over 30 years. So, yeah, what am I saying? My maths is just like terrible. Anyway, yes, so it's definitely a vintage piece because there's no bubble, which makes it pre-1990. I know it's not glass, but I saw this and I was trying to figure out what it was for, because I was thinking, would you put bottles in there or something? You close this. Yeah. So yeah, but then the bottles would just drop straight through. And you put water in it. Victorian boiled egg warming pan, £95. I think that's a really cool thing. Real unusual piece of KitchenAid. I've never seen it before. Yeah, I quite like that a lot. But my wife would kill me if I brought it home because I'm not collecting egg warming pots. And just above the egg warming pot, I didn't spot this because it doesn't initially strike you as being glass. Venetian glass Malta. That's with the random strapping, iridescence. They do this by throwing metal salts onto the glass while it's still hot to give that pattern. Oh, look at that, and it's signed Venetia Malta 90, and they want £50. Now, I don't know much about Maltese glass and collecting Maltese glass, but as a piece of art glass, signed and with a label, £50 seems, because it's nice. It's a nice piece. I'm always looking for unusual things, and here is something. It's a shot tumbler. I've only just picked this up, so I don't know what the other side of the label says. This is shot glass. It's very unusual. That's cut as well. That is I want to see how much it is. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. £25. Ice crackle glass tumbler, 1920. Probably Moser. Yeah. The other people that used to make this were Baccarat, because I have a shot glass Baccarat jug. That is nice. It said that they've cut into the rim. This is a really nice thing. I don't even think this is made by dipping. I think they do it by rolling it over. So when it's crackle glass, they basically dip it into cold water, and it shocks the surface and fills it full of crackers, and then they reheat it. I think this is done by rolling it on bits of broken glass and reheating it into the surface, I think. Because it feels a bit like somewhere between crackle glass and shot glass. I don't know. But anyway, he's saying crackle, but it is nice. Yeah, that's a good thing, a rare thing. And also, if it is Baccarat, then it might be as early as 1880s. I will have some Baccarat catalogues floating around. I will see if I can find it. I'm looking at the glassmusterbuch.de website, and yeah, so there are a few Baccarat catalogues here, and I've had a good plough through them. And in actual fact, the only shot glass I can find is these jugs. And yeah, so there's no tumblers or glasses or anything like that that I could find.
I can show you. This is the one that I own, which is sitting there, and you can have a bit closer look at it, and it's, the texture's not the same. So even if they did make them, I don't think it's them, because it just isn't the same texture. So yeah, maybe it is Moser. There's no Moser catalogues here, so I can't tell, but I've done my best. So I hope you enjoyed that, and as this is quite a long film, I'm going to try and wrap it up quick. So all the links that I have and address for Notions Antique Centre will be in the description below. All of the references and books that I use will be in the description below. And please remember to like and subscribe, and wait for part 2. Thank you. Good night.